Hey guys, what's up? This is EWS Sports. This is Daniel. I'm Jake. We're here with our first special guest, Michael, and we are doing college football. So let's get started.
We're going to start on our Week 12 prediction with our Heisman picks. Jake and I are both going to give our top 5 Heisman picks.
And Michael is going to come in with his number 1.
Who's your 5, Jake?
My 5, I'm sticking with my man Jordan Lynch, the quarterback from Northern Illinois. I mean, he's put up a great attack with 1,871 passing yards, 19 passing TDs. But where he really gets you is where he has 1,150 rushing yards. That's the most in the nation by a quarterback. And he also has 12 rushing TDs.
Yeah, you gotta love Jordan Lynch. My 5 is Jameis Winston. The reason he's not earlier, he's not getting enough chances to make statistics. 5 interceptions in the last 4 games. Yeah, so he's there for me.
Yeah, I have him a little bit lower than I normally have him. But number 4, I have Marcus Mariota from Oregon. I mean, he just hasn't looked that impressive the past couple weeks. He still has 0 interceptions. He still has a bright future. He's had a great year. He's put up over 2,500 passing yards. He's put up almost 500 rushing yards. I mean, he's a great dual threat quarterback, but I just didn't see him in it. I just didn't see it in him last week.
I don't know about dropping him that low after 1 loss. I mean, we both had him number 1 last week, but I'll respect that. And number 4, I have Brandon Cooks. First time he's in any of our Heisman picks. Wide receiver for Oregon State, 1,344 receiving yards, and 14 touchdowns.
You know, if you put someone from Oregon State, I'm surprised it's not Sean Mannion.
This guy's getting all of Mannion yards, so he deserves to be up there.
All right, that's agreeable. I mean, number 3, I have your number 5, Jameis Winston. I mean, he just didn't impress me last week. I mean, he's putting up the stats. Florida State's winning. He has a 92.8 QB rating. He's just doing very well, but I mean, I just didn't see him. I just didn't see it.
Number 3 for me, I have Bryce Petty. Only 6 sacks, great game last week against Oklahoma.
Yeah, number 2, I have Bryce Petty. I mean, he clearly deserves to be in the top 2 now. I mean, he has over 2,500 passing yards, 21 passing TDs, and he also has 8 goal line rushing TDs, 1 interception. I mean, he's 3rd in the nation with over 390 yards per game. I mean, he's just doing incredible.
Second for me, I have Johnny Football. Over 70% completion percentage. He has 11 interceptions. I just love his yards. He has so many yards, so he's right there for me.
You know, I have Johnny Manziel at number 1. I mean, this guy clearly deserves to be number 1 right now. I mean, he's put up more passing yards than any of the guys that we've mentioned. He has 3,313 passing yards, 31 passing TDs, and he has the most rushing yards. He has 611 rushing yards on the season.
I still have Mariota at number 1 with 0 interceptions, but he's got to hold on to the football. He's fumbling a lot still. So Michael Talisman.
Who's your number 1?
My number 1 is Jameis Winston. I think what he's done this year as a leader off the field and on the field has been great. He's so accurate, and obviously a key reason to why the Seminoles are 10-0 and looking at an ACC championship and possibly a spot in the BCS title game is because of Jameis Winston. So he's my number.
You got any dark horses for this year's Heisman race?
Deontay Greenberry has 1,000 receiving yards, and he's been great this year. So I keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I mean, Houston has a great offense behind John O'Corn. Deontay Greenberry is one of those reasons. You know, that's an agreeable pick.
He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
So we're going on to our predictions, our game picks. First one, we got Georgia at Auburn. Is there an upset here? Talisman, you want to start us off?
I don't see an upset. Georgia's too much of a question mark in my mind. After the loss to Vanderbilt, they have 2 acceptable losses, but Vanderbilt that really makes me question them. And Auburn's been playing so well, and at home I don't see an upset here. I look for it to be a good game, but with Todd Gurley out on Georgia, I just don't think they can rely on Aaron Murray too much.
That is a great pick, Michael. I'm also going Auburn. Their rushing has been outstanding, consisting of Trey Mason and their quarterback Nick Marshall. They're 3rd in the FBS in rushing yards per game with 320.
I'm making it 3. I don't see how Georgia's ranked after beating Appalachian State and only beating Florida by 3, so let's make it 3.
Yeah, I mean, if Auburn wins, it will be because of the rushing game.
What's your next game?
All right, next we have number 16, Michigan State, arguably one of the best defenses in the nation, going to Nebraska to face Taylor Martinez and the Huskers. Who you got?
I have Michigan State in this one. They've been playing so well, and they've really been rallying behind their defense, but also a pretty good offense. And with that mix, I just don't think Nebraska can keep up. I think it's going to be Nebraska offense versus Michigan State defense, and I just don't think Nebraska is too powerful of an offense to beat Michigan State.
Who you got?
You're a smart man, Michael. Completely agree. Michigan State's defense will win this game. Although Amir Abdullah has looked good for Nebraska.
Yep. Let me give you another stat here. Michigan State's defense is third in the FBS in points against, and that is behind two great defenses in Alabama and Louisville. They've only given up an average of 11.6 points per game, and the most they've given up all season is 28, so I also have Spartan.
Next, we're going to Waco, Texas Tech, playing Baylor, looking to bounce back. Tell
I thought Texas Tech was going to be a really good team, top 10 for 7 weeks of the year, and these last 3 weeks getting beat 25 points against Kansas State. I just don't see how that happens. And Baylor probably the best quarterback running back combo with Cicerunk and Petty, and they just have too powerful of an offense. They put up 70 points over 70 points 3 times this year. I just don't think Texas Tech's defense can contain Baylor.
All right. Well, I'm also going with the Bears. People only said that Baylor was a quarterback school, but they also have a top 10 rushing game, a top 10 defense in points allowed, with under 20, and they also have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Bryce Petty.
Let's make it 3 again. Baylor, Petty will win this game. Tech losing back-to-back games. I don't see them winning this one.
Wow, for the first time you're here, you are really on top of your game, Michael. Thank you. All right, and next we have Stanford on upset alert at number 4 in the nation, going to Los Angeles to face the Trojans of USC. Who you got in that game?
Yeah, upset alert city right there.
Yeah.
USC, great week against Cal, fantastic week against Cal. I don't care if Cal's a 1-8 team. USC, that was probably their best game of the year. Stanford, they beat good teams, and I think they get a little. They overlook the bad teams or the okay teams, and obviously USC is no bad team. Stanford's going into a tough place, and I think the Coliseum's going to be rocking, and I think the USC is going to come out with a win.
Jake?
Well, that is a great pick. I'm assuming you're going to Stanford, but I think Michael's got it right. USC on upset alert.
I can't pick against Stanford again. They've proved me wrong too many times. Tyler Gaffney's been great. Kevin Hogan looks sharp, so I'm going Stanford.
Well, no, you're talking about Kevin Hogan, but you realize that he hasn't put up a game over 300 yards passing.
But
I think that's going to kill him versus USC's great defense.
he's been solid. He's not turning the ball over that much, so I think they will win this game.
Yeah, I mean, in his last 5 games, he's averaged just over 150 passing yards a game. So, great pick, Michael. USC on upset alert.
And let's quickly go to Oklahoma State at Texas. Texas winning 6 straight games. Michael?
Obviously, you can't set aside the importance of this game. If UT wins, they have a guarantee to play for the Big 12 championship, and we haven't won the Big 12 championship since '09. And all this year, Texas has talked about rebuilding, and it didn't look like it was going to happen after the first 3 games of the year. But now it's here, now the opportunity's here. You beat a team like Oklahoma State, you're probably going to top 15, definitely going to top 15. And then you got two games against Tech and Baylor, and those are going to determine the rest of the year. That doesn't say that Oklahoma State's not going to come out and play hard, but in Austin, Case McCoy's been great this year. Oklahoma State's going with a backup quarterback who has been 4-0 though, so I think it's going to be a really, really close game that Texas is going to squeak out the end.
I got Oklahoma State. I know they got their backup quarterback in. They benched J.W. Walsh, but I still think they're going to come up on top. Texas winning in overtime against West Virginia didn't look as strong as they should have looked.
No, I think Michael should take your spot, but Texas will win this game. They're 5-1 with Case McCoy as their starter, with 2 very bad losses at the beginning of the season. They picked it up, and Oklahoma State starter J.W. Walsh is out, and Texas is the only team that Oklahoma State has played that is still in the rankings. So I think Texas will pull it out.
Also, keep in mind, West Virginia was one team that beat Oklahoma State, and the Longhorns didn't look fantastic against West Virginia, but they looked good and they came away with a win. And West Virginia is no fluke of a team either.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind that Texas has lost their two key players. Their running back Jonathan Gray, who is out for the year, and then their defensive lineman Chris Whaley, who is also out for the season.
Yeah, I'd expect DJ Johnson to be getting a lot of snaps coming out of the running back formation.
Malcolm Brown too.
Yeah, Malcolm Brown will be the primary running back, obviously, and Burgeon's going to carry the load. But DJ Johnson will be getting more running back opportunities, and I'd expect to see him at wide receiver a lot and screens. He's going to have to be a playmaker.
Yeah. Also, don't leave out Texas' passing game. Mike Davis, Jackson Shipley, Case McCoy.
So before we go, I got 2 upset picks for you. Duke's going to beat Miami. Miami coming off back-to-back losses. I like Jamison Crowder, wide receiver for Duke. They'll win this game.
Yeah, and also I have the Washington Huskies pulling it out in Los Angeles versus UCLA. I have Keith Price just playing strong on Friday night.
I agree with you there. So that's it for this week's podcast. See us next week for our Week 12 review. Thanks for watching EWS Sports Podcasting.
All right, thank you to our first special guest, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.